Alright, so summer is here, and in my opinion, that's really the best time to go out, start filming, start vlogging, and documenting your life. Maybe you've just sat down and scripted out your first video, or maybe you've even gone out and filmed it, but I bet in the back of your mind, something still just doesn't feel right about your vlog. And I'm gonna say it right now, you're probably just overthinking it. I was too in the very beginning, and honestly, I still do even to this day. But the entire creative process for vlogging has definitely gotten a lot easier over the years, so today I wanted to share some advice about that. Things I've learned through years of trial and error on how you can go about your day and start vlogging your life without completely overcomplicating the process as a beginner. So essentially, a vlog is just a very loosely defined short film. And what that means is at the core of it all, you still need a good story. And I know you are definitely tired of hearing that from everybody, that story is king, you have to have a story. Because everybody knows that, and I know you do too. See, the problem isn't that you don't know that, it's that you don't know how to actually find a story in your day to tell. So to break down how I find a story in my day to make a vlog about, I like to think about the fundamental pieces in a movie. And just like short films, feature films, documentaries, what you really need to think about are scenes. Just like scenes in your favorite movie, you need to have a compilation of scenes that when stitched together tell a greater and broader story. When it comes to vlogging, because you're filming as the day is going on, you sometimes don't know that overarching story, but I bet you do know at least a scene or two ahead. What that means is maybe I don't know exactly what I'm up to today, but I do know that in an hour or so, I'm gonna go meet up with a friend, so I can build a scene around that. And then after that, again, I might not know what I'm gonna do for the rest of the evening, but I do know that I'm hungry, so I'm gonna go get some food. That's another scene. So instead of stressing yourself before you start shooting of what is my story, just allow yourself to live life and think of things scene by scene, and also think about how the scenes kind of tie into the overall feeling that you're trying to deliver. So when I'm out shooting and filming things, I always try and think, is this just a shot that I'm getting because it looks cool, or is this an actual scene? If it's a scene, I'll have to build a little bit more around it. Most often I'll also capture some dialogue, some talking. I'll talk straight to the camera and explain what's going on. A lot of people will tell you that in filmmaking you want to show, not tell. I do think that's true, but because vlogging it's like a one-to-one conversation I'm having with you guys here, I think it's okay to show and tell, and that's what I always tell everybody starting out. It's okay to say like, hey, I'm at this coffee shop right now, and then show the coffee shop as well. It's okay to do both because that just gives the viewer a lot more context, and also it allows you to show your personality more, which can actually be a very strong theme throughout your entire video. Alright, so I'm meeting up with my buddy Joel to get some work done, and funny enough, Joel is actually in the position right now where he's looking to start on YouTube again. In the past, he's already posted on YouTube. I think he's at like 2,000 subscribers, and he's had one video kind of pop off, but hasn't actually done it consistently in a while, which I assume is honestly like a lot of you guys out there, and it was like me a year ago. So I'm gonna get his opinions on some of this stuff and see where he's at, because I feel like a lot of beginner struggles are really, really similar. So yeah, it's a beautiful day today, but that's where I'm headed. It's always like summer's always the best time to start filming, you know.
Yeah.
Actually, it's funny enough, the video that I'm making right now is for beginners on how to make videos.
Oh, really?
So it's really interesting that you you stopped me here.
Thank you so
Bro,
much.
I appreciate you stopping me.
You are very friendly. Thank you so much for your time and for explaining about this.
Take care, man, and I hope to see some of your videos soon, all right?
Okay, perfect.
Take care, man.
Bye-bye.
So the guy that I just bumped into as I was trying to enter the coffee shop said that he saw me like walking down the street filming myself. Of course, that definitely draws attention. But he said that he actually wanted to start making YouTube videos, and he was asking me immediately about like what kind of camera he should get or how he should go about it. And I told him, funny enough, that the video I'm making right now is actually about how to start making videos as a beginner. And I told him something that I tell a lot of people. First of all, your phone is a great camera, and your phone can actually do a lot. And second, when you start making videos, it's not even about the gear in the beginning. It's more about the process, like starting, making a video, editing it, doing that cycle over and over again. Like purchasing a new camera is not even close to the first thing that you should be thinking about when you start making YouTube videos. Yeah, honestly, kind of crazy that I just bumped into him on the street. So fitting, so fitting. Alright, so I want to take a quick second of your time to shout out today's video sponsor, which is actually myself. So I get a lot of comments about color grading on these videos, and I just want to say that everything on my channel that exists has been color graded myself. And recently I actually spent some time curating and launching my own LUT. So if you like the color on this video and throughout the rest of the channel, you can check that out in the link in description. And all funds moving forward are getting reinvested back into the creative hustle to get more videos out to you guys. So again, if you're interested in color grading your videos like mine, check that out in the link in description.
Oh, yo, what's up?
How's it going, man?
What's good?
to
I'm
see you.
chilling. Yes, sir.
And he took an Uber to like go like 10 steps.
Yeah, bruh. You know.
And it was late. You would have been faster walking.
You know, that's what happens when you wake up at 1 p.m.
Do you want to give the people a quick introduction? Because I was telling everyone how you're starting to get back into YouTube, but you've done it a bit before and kind of been goated at like the video stuff recently.
I've been trying. Well, I started off on YouTube. I've been doing filmmaking, photography full time for a lot of other brands, companies. Right now, I'm getting into the vlogging space because of Jason, your homie over here. It's nervous, bro. Vlogging's hard. Vlogging's a lot harder than I remember it being. Considering that I've been behind the camera for 3, maybe 4 years.
I was just saying on his video that it's basically like learning how to walk again, because you're not just living your day, you're like living your day from a third perspective. But I don't know, in the end it's all worth it, I find. Like when you sit down to edit and you finish a video and it's personal and it means something, I think that's like such a good feeling.
Oh, for sure.
So once you loosely have an idea of what your scenes are and the general story outline that you're going for, the next important thing is how a viewer feels when they watch the video. And how I interpret that is how well you can transition from scene to scene. You don't want to mess up the flow of your video by tying 2 awkward scenes together or by leaving weird gaps where you don't explain things. So after I film a scene, I always think to myself, if I was an audience member and I didn't really know what was going on, would the context that I just gave in the last scene be enough to transition me to the next? And if it is, that's good. I can move ahead with my day and start filming the next thing. If it's not, I have to think, what else can I explain and how else can I make this make sense? So something that definitely helped me a lot when I started out making vlogs was, instead of thinking about the entire video as a finished product, I would instead just think about the flow of a video. A really, really simple and straightforward way that I do that is through the use of music, B-roll, and transitions. B-roll helps me take you from point A to point B between scenes. Music kind of does the same thing, but sometimes I can get away with that without shooting any B-roll. And in any of my previous videos, including this one, you can see that I do that a lot. Anytime that there's gonna be a jump in between 2 scenes, I'm gonna use that to help keep the flow of the video, because it'd be really weird if you were watching a video and all of a sudden I was just jumping in between locations like that, talking about random things that didn't actually make sense strung together. So I find that by using B-roll and having these little scenes, they kind of act like little breaks and give the audience, the viewer, at least a little bit of time to breathe between your talking segments. Similar to how you talk to a friend, you can't always be the one talking. You need to have a little bit of break so that everything just kind of feels natural. The reason that you actually need to do this is because the point of a video is to take your audience on a journey from point A to point B, and you can't expect the audience to figure that journey out by themselves. You kind of need to hold their hand and bring them along, invite them with you. Or even just what I did simply at the beginning of the scene, just by walking into frame, it kind of lets you know that I just showed up here. I gotta ask you a question for my video.
Okay.
Since you're starting out making YouTube videos again, and like specifically vlogs, what do you think is like the hardest thing for you right now?
The number one problem for me personally is finding the words to say, because I feel like I get really straight to the point, right? Like when I write essays for class, I can summarize the whole thing in like a couple sentences. Like, why do you want me to write a 2,000 word essay when I can just describe it in 100?
That's true.
Like, what am I doing here, man?
Yeah.
With YouTube, it's hard because it only ends up being a minute or 2 minutes long. So I'm really trying to find that flow of getting the video out to 10 minutes, so I can get those mid-roll ads. You know what I'm saying?
Man, that's the point of it all, man. So a common thing that I see a lot of people struggling with when they're out shooting vlogs is they don't know what to say to the camera. And I think that's normal because you're having a conversation with nobody at the same time with everybody. You're addressing people through a camera, but the camera doesn't talk back to you, so it makes for a lot of awkward pauses. Now, I can't actually tell you exactly what to say to the camera, or else your videos would just be my videos, but I can tell you this simple process that I use to make sure that I'm always giving enough context when I'm out vlogging. So every time I'm about to bring up my camera and film myself, I always think of 2 things to say. First is the simple information, like what's going on, what time it is, day, where you are, things like that to really establish the setting. I also find that by starting my sentences like this, it kind of is easier to keep talking when I have something simple to say at the beginning. I also do this because I find that it's easier to keep talking when you already have something going than to have that awkward cold start at the beginning of a segment. It also just makes talking to the camera a little bit more natural, like you're updating a friend. Next, the second part, which is actually the important part of whatever dialogue you're trying to have, which is where you actually explain what you want to say. I always think about it in terms of context to the viewer, so I want to properly describe what's going on in the scene so that you understand my motivation. Like, what is my reason for doing what I'm doing right now? For example, we can look at one of my previous vlogs where I was heading to the store to buy some cleaning supplies. Overall, a pretty boring scene, but I invite you in a little bit more by giving you a little bit more context about something that's happened in the past, showing the more human side of things. Okay, so a few things that I need to get today. This kind of reminds me of my time when I was in Chicago last summer, where everything is just like a couple bucks more expensive than what I'm used to, so I'm heading down to the dollar store to go see if there's the cleaning supplies that I need. Not sure if it's gonna make that much of a difference, but I mean, the two stores are like close by enough that it doesn't really matter to me what store I go to. Gotta go check it out. Instead of me telling you that I'm buying something and then going to buy it, you now understand a little bit of context as to why I'm going to this specific store, and it's as if I'm inviting you to come with me because you understand the situation. I kind of think of it like when your friend invites you out but doesn't tell you what's going on, so you kind of feel out of place. Like, you don't want the viewer to feel like that, so always make sure that your friend, the viewer, is comfortable in that situation and understands what's going on. So that's really how I go about thinking of my talking scenes. Every time I pick up my camera to vlog myself, I think, let me tell you guys what I'm doing, where I'm going, what time it is, day of the week, something like that. And second, I transition to a little bit more why. Why am I doing this? What is my motivation? And tell me a bit more about the situation. I think this is also just a really natural way of talking to the camera, because it's really the same way you'd talk to anybody in real life. You'd start with something small like a hey, how are you? And then transition to what you're actually trying to get at. So that's how I kind of think about what to say when I film myself. So thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. I really hope that this was helpful and shed a little bit of light onto how I go about this whole vlogging process. Even though I have made a lot of vlogs at this point, I still do think I'm a bit of a beginner because there's always just something out there to learn, and the best way to do so as a beginner is just to start, to make videos. Maybe some things I've said today don't make the most sense, but if you go and film a few times, it'll all kind of click and you'll really understand how to see things from a creator's perspective instead of an audience perspective. I hope that this was helpful, and I do actually plan on making a few more of these videos, these how to vlog videos, because I think there's just so much that goes into the creative process, from planning, shooting, editing, and then you can get into gear. So those are some of the videos that I want to make at least once a month to kind of help out the next set of creators in the same way that some of the creators before me did for me.